Hello again. If you are playing this video, you should have already read through this and tried to figure out the answer to part A and B. Now I'm going to show you how it works, and so you can check your answer and verify that you were smart enough or clear up any confusion this might have had. The main thing to remember is that this is the number for the days after outbreak. This is the number of students who have the flu. Notice that the tissue boxes depend on the students who had the flu. So you can't get the answer to tissue box unless you know the number of students who had the flu, and you don't know that unless you already know how many days it's been since the outbreak. So when it says how many tissue boxes were sold when the outbreak started, that meant that we wanted D to equal 0, because that's how many days it's been after the outbreak. Now, when we did that, it turns out that F, the function that tells us how many kids get the flu, was 3. So D becomes and that means that 3 kids have the flu. So to figure out the number of kids who, or the number of tissue boxes that they're going to buy, we needed this number. We use this in the tissue box rule, which is G of N. So I want G of N, which is 3, and I find out they sold 4 boxes of tissues when the outbreak occurred. If you went here and looked at 0, 1, I understand that because we've always forced you to just look at the 0, but we have to remember this is the dependent variable, and it depends on the number of students who have the flu, and we can't figure out how many students have the flu unless we know how many days after the outbreak it's been. Okay? So when it says, what do you think G of F of 0 means in this situation? It's the notation that really throws people. We always start with the inside first and work our way out. Sorry about that. So we're going to start with 0, and because it's attached to F, that means we go and look at the F function. We always start with the innermost first, and F is telling us how many kids there were this many days after the outbreak. So this really means 0 days after the outbreak. And then it is attached to F. So I want to go find out, what does F mean? And F means number of students who have the flu after this many days. So I know it's 3. 3 students have the flu. Oops, wrong kind of flu. So we know that that's going to be F of 0. Now we take this answer 3, and we've already used F, so now we're going to move out to G. So G is the next one we want. But we're going to put in this 3 because that's the number of students, not 0, 3. And when we do, we get 4 boxes of tissue. So that notation is how we ask the exact same thing as we asked in A. And we got to remember and train our brain, look inside first, find out what function is next, and then after we get that answer, go to the next function. Pause this and then start the back, and when you're ready, you can turn this back on and see the rest of it. Go ahead and pause. So I have the advantage where I can actually fold up my paper, cut it apart, and show you these all together. Do you notice that what this part C wants us to do, excuse me, I'll start again. So we're going to start here. 0 is the outbreaks, number of tissue boxes, and so we know we have to hop through the hoops. 0 goes to 3, so 3 number of students creates 4. 2 Days, we had 9 students, 12 boxes. 6 days, 16 students, 16 students, 18 boxes. 8 days, 30 students, 30 students, 33 boxes. I think you get the gist of it, so go ahead and finish those. And then when you're ready, unpause the video and we'll do the last bit. So there's one problem down here on D. This third one doesn't work. Scribble it out. I got this from a college algebra class, not mine, a different one, and I think the teacher meant something other than what they wrote, so we'll just cross that off. I'm going to do f of 2, g of f of 2, and let you do that one on your own. Notice this says start with 2 and use the f function. Well, 2 requires on the days after the outbreak, so that means go find 2 for D. There it is. After we take that the number of kids that are sick, we put that into G, and G's output gives us the number of tissue boxes sold. So that's 12. So what we did was we avoided having to do that in between. What this means is 2 days after the outbreak, that 12 tissue boxes were sold. So I know you can finish number 16. Go ahead and turn off this video, and then we'll do one for the next one.